we saw her, the hypnotist, kind of cut you off a couple times when you were trying to talk with the women, and it must have been hard because you think that these ladies are your friend, but when you guys did that whole trust, who do you trust, who do you not trust, all of the ladies said that they didn't trust you. How did that feel in that moment, having all these women like raise their hand and be like, yeah, we don't trust Jen?
It felt terrible because I had no idea that the women felt like this. And so it was very hurtful because I don't know anything if you don't tell it to me to my face. And so all this stuff had been going on behind the scenes where, nobody addressed it. So to hear that and see that, it was hurtful. And then when I raised my hand and when they said who trusts Heather, and doesn't trust Heather, and I raised my hand, it's because Heather and I were closest, and I felt like, girl, come on, like, yeah, why, out of anybody, right, at that time, how do I not know what you're feeling?
Yeah, and it kind of feels like,
because she raised her hand too, and that's why.
Yeah, right. It feels like almost like all the girls are talking shit behind your back, but they're not just saying it to your face. Whereas if you guys had a conversation face to face and everyone was really open with their feelings, you'd probably get through this a bit faster. But the good thing is, even though you're going through, like, social media is so hard when it comes to, I feel like, reality TV and stuff like that, because they forget that if they were filmed 24/7, they would also probably look shitty sometimes. But I feel like in every franchise and every series, somebody goes through a downfall, but then the next season, things pick back up for them. So I feel like it may be rough right now, but there's a redemption story coming.
Okay, I hope so.
Yeah, and I do think that a lot of these, at least watching, it does seem like these women are able to have conversations and openly talk about things and maybe mend relationships and whatnot. So I feel like hopefully you can have great relationships with all those women. The only one that I from watching, it seems like you will never be friends with is Mary. Is that true?
From my perspective, I'm like, I'm very easy to like get along with. Like, once we talk it out, like, okay, let's move forward. I'm very forgiving. I have a big heart. And so I think it's just going to be up to what Miriam Cosby's feeling that day. But I would agree with you. That's probably the one that's like the question mark.
And look, from our perspective, watching, like, Mary, not for us. Just it's like, just, I don't know. There are certain things, it's the way she acts sometimes, where it's like, I don't know. I don't know her. Like, I think you and so many of these women have opened up so well and have let us into your lives so intimately. Especially you, Jen. I think that, some of these conversations we've seen you have with your husband and these very intense moments, you don't see on a lot of Housewives franchises, because sometimes they kind of hide if there's any, relationship stuff going on, they don't share it as much, but we got to see that from you, which is great. And sometimes with Mary, I'm just like, I don't know her. I don't get her. I feel like what I'm just seeing is this shiny toy, and I have no idea who she actually is.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what, like I mentioned before, going into this, I was like, oh, this is just, I'm supposed to, if I sign up for this, I'm supposed to show everything. Mm-hmm. And, I think that's why, for me, when I've been asked questions like, do I feel certain people have been real or authentic? I think, maybe they weren't 100%, like you were just saying, like not showing everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
Where I came in, I was like, yo, I'm effed up. So here you go, guys.
That's the way to do it. How are things now with your husband? Because obviously, like we said, you're showing everything, what's happening between you guys. Where are you guys at right now?
We're doing great. We've been able to spend more time together because of COVID.
Right.
So that's been one blessing out of the whole last year. Yeah. So we've been able to spend more time together, and we're still working working through things, but we're definitely in a great place. I've definitely gone on a journey, and I've evolved over the last year, finally dealing head on with my father's death and respecting the stages of grief that they are real. And even Jen Shah can't get my assistant can't deal with it. I got to deal with it. I can't put it off to the side. So, the show was really great for me because it forced me to put everything out there and deal with it. Where before I was just like, no, I'm busy with work. We're going to open another office, launch another product, do whatever, because that was my way of, not dealing with the reality of my situation. So the show was great for me because it forced me to do that and tell my husband what was going on with me.
How has it been for you guys watching it back? Do you guys all watch together? Does Coach Shah watch the show? Do your sons watch the show?
Oh, hell no. No, we don't watch it together.
I couldn't imagine doing that, to be completely honest. I couldn't even imagine watching myself.
Yeah.
Like I
There's a bunch of times too where, so Coach Shah, everything is recorded, and he will literally, and he's a coach, a Pac-12 coach, so he's used to watching film, hours and hours of film, and grading it and critiquing it. So that's what he does with the Housewives show. And he watches it, critiques it. He comes back, and I'm just like, oh, here we go. And he's like, okay, so Cupcake, because that's what he calls me. He's like, Cupcake, I gave you like a B- on this episode because there's a couple things we can work on.
That's amazing.
That's unreal. He comes back with an entire game plan for you for next season.
Yep.
Oh yeah, no, he does. He comes in with a game plan. He came in with a game plan when we we were going to reunion. He's like, okay, so here's what we're going to do up on the whiteboard. I was like, okay.
That's unreal. I love that.
That's so great. That's a fun dynamic to have for watching this back. We are going into the finale, so we only have an episode left before, like you just mentioned, we see the reunion. I know that everybody's first reunion is a wild ride, and I know you can't tell us too much, but any hints on how this reunion is going to go down?
I wasn't sure what to, expect going into it, other than, I've seen some reunions, and it was, I'll tell you what, I slept for 2 days after the reunion. Literally.
Yeah. Yep. Just a little hibernation.
Had to take a Xanax after and pass out.
Oh man. Well, yeah.
I think you guys, you will be there's some surprising moments in the reunion that I don't think, are expected. I know I was surprised. And yeah, it was just, gosh, I don't know. I'm still recovering from the
one
reunion.
word to describe it. One word to describe the reunion.
Explosive.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
That's the best.
We I understand it's your life, but for reality TV purposes, we enjoy explosive.
Explosive. It definitely.
Okay, then you're gonna love the reunion.
Yeah, definitely pulls us in. Jen, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us and talking about this season. We're so excited to see it come to an end and watch the reunion, and hopefully can't wait for a season 2. So thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you. Have a great day. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.